Alright, quick update on green Satoshi token. So, it's been a couple of days since I made my last update on this, and wow, we've got absolutely decimated. And what's very interesting is, we were calling for this 50% drop all the way down to $1.49, and a lot of people might have thought, that was out of pocket, I'm a perma bear, other stuff like that. But we've come right down to this first price target, well, the second price target actually, because I just deleted the first one. I think we wrapped up this price target before my last video though, and I just didn't delete it. So this was what we were talking about. This was the move down to $1.49. It has already happened. The next leg down would be the 1.618 Fibonacci, and this also lines up with basically the psychological level around $1. So keep your eyes on this fib, which is $1.09, and then also the psychological level of $1 together. I'm going to box them up with a nice rectangle and mark this as your next area of support. Does this mean that because this is the next level of support that this is where you want to buy? Absolutely not. Just like I said here, this is the next price target, and we need to look at what happens in the price, and we need to react to how the market reacts. I do not think that, we're going to come down into the support box and then moon is going to be coming in the next couple of days. I think we've got lower price targets. And if you've been watching my GST videos, you know that even though I've been very bearish since $3.70, it's been for good reason, because we're all the way down at basically $1 right now. The RSI has fallen off the table, meaning that there is basically no strength left in the market at this moment in time. And the selling volume today has been pretty lackluster, but if we draw a line of best fit, you can see the volume is exponentially increasing, and really within the past week or so, the volume has been predominantly in the favor of the bears. And as they say, volume predicts price, and the volume is exponentially increasing to the upside. So be very, very cautious right now. We're literally in price discovery to the downside. I hate to do this to green Satoshi token, but you know that I always do this to charts that have broken below their lows. We are below the mint price. So, if we invert this chart, we imagine this was the previous all-time high, because a lot of people, they look at a chart and they still think it's bullish, even if it's in price discovery to the downside. Flip it to the inverse chart and it takes away a lot of the emotions. Let's say this was your previous all-time high. We flipped the EMA ribbons, we broke above the previous all-time high, we bull flagged out, and now we're in price discovery to the upside. And what's interesting about this is, once again, you flip the chart and you realize that that's inverse chart theory. We're probably going to move down to lower price targets. So unfortunately for green Satoshi token, I do not think the slaughter fest is done. I think at least we're probably going to move down to about $1 within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be here by tomorrow. But I do not think, we don't really have a huge array of targets left at this period in time. Let's see, did your 1.618 hold from here? Your 1.618, I think we're going to need to see more data traded on this to see whether this is well respected or not. This fib as well, I imagine the 1.618 would be pretty similar. 2.618. So if we do break below $1, your 58 cent all the way down to 50 cent would be your next level. Because unfortunately, once you go below there, you've only got 36 cent, 19 cent, and then there is no more price targets before we reach zero. So pretty nasty what we're seeing right now. You can also potentially see that we could be playing out something like a channel, and in fact, maybe we might not come down to these price targets tomorrow. Maybe we will come down to them tomorrow, and we could bounce as high as the $1.35 region. If we do draw a fib from our most recent high down to where we are now, actually let's draw it down to $1. Let's assume we come down to $1. Coming up to the 618, no, I don't even think we'll be coming down to the 618, so I'm not even going to talk about that. I don't think we're going to be able to break out of this. I think lower price targets are probably in hand before we do start to recover. And I'm seeing a lot of M patterns as well, a lot of bearish signals, for example. These have already happened, but head and shoulders, breakdown, M pattern, breakdown. It just doesn't seem good to me at this moment in time. I think green Satoshi token unfortunately has to move to lower price targets. I don't think there's much else that we can cover. If we remove this, and switch this over to the Hikanashi candles, you can see this is, I mean, apart from these few little dinky green candles, it's been a pretty textbook bear trend since $6.20. So it's been pretty black and white since then. You know, the EMAs have been flipped. We're massively converging beneath them. We're miles away from the 13 EMA, and the 13 EMA is like the least bullish indicator, or the least bullish moving average that you would need to be above if you wanted to consider it even to be remotely bullish. For example, this entire uptrend was supported basically by the 13 EMA. This entire downtrend since the flip at $5.70 has been fully supported by the 13 EMA. So until this changes, then, you know, I have to stick with my guns on this, and I do think that GST is going to move down to lower price targets. If you think I'm being a little bit too bearish, thinking it's going to move down to $1 and then potentially 57 cents, bear in mind I've been calling for these moves down since very high price targets up here at like $3.70, $2.67. We then called for a 50% drop. It did seem a little bit extreme, but that was what the charts were telling us. That's what the fibs were telling us. From this low to this high, the 1.618 was so perfectly respected until we emmed out and broke below it, that it was obvious to me that we were going to move down to the 2.618 and have this 50% drop. And it's not as black and white in this time. Like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if we did have a dead cat bounce before we did move down to 58 to 50 cent, but I do think these price targets are going to be in place. So at least in the short term, keep your eyes on $1. You'd really want to hold $1 because, like I said, you're in price discovery to the downside at this period in time, and there aren't any other levels apart from the psychological level of $1, and then also this micro 1.618 at 96 to 97 cents. So basically, if you start to see a massive landslide below $1, specifically invalidating and pushing below 96 cents, GST is probably going to go on a massive roll down a hill and probably capitulate another 48 to 56%. That could be absolutely brutal. To wrap up this video, I would just like to talk about the Bitcoin dominance. If we check out the Bitcoin dominance, this is something that I've been talking about for all altcoins. For example, if you've been watching my green Satoshi token videos, you know that I've been bearish on altcoins for the past couple of weeks. If you watch all of my videos, or if you're simply a seasoned veteran to my channel and you watch my Bitcoin and altcoin updates, then you know that for weeks now on both YouTube, my Discord, and Twitter, I've been telling you, while all these moon boys have been saying altcoins to the moon, altcoin season's coming, the mega Bitcoin bull cycle is coming, and all these altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin, all these altcoins are going to go on rallies, I've been telling you for the past couple of weeks that altcoins are going to get wrecked. I've been having a contrarian opinion to what other traders have been saying, and what has the Bitcoin dominance done since then? The Bitcoin dominance has moved up almost 12.5% since I flipped bearish on altcoins, and all of these altcoins have been getting wrecked in this stage. What does this mean? When the Bitcoin dominance moves up, it simply means that out of the total crypto market cap, Bitcoin's percent of that market cap increases. And as it increases, obviously there's more of a market cap in Bitcoin comparatively to other altcoins. Notice how I say comparatively, because it doesn't necessarily matter if the Bitcoin market cap is moving up or down. The Bitcoin dominance can move up while Bitcoin's going down, and it can move up while Bitcoin is going up. It only matters about the percent that Bitcoin's market cap takes up compared to the total crypto market cap. It doesn't matter about the actual market cap. For example, if altcoins drop 99%, Bitcoin could drop 95%, and the Bitcoin dominance would skyrocket because Bitcoin's outperforming altcoins. And on the same accord, if Bitcoin moves up 2x and altcoins only move up 1.5x, then the Bitcoin dominance is once again going to move up because it's outperforming altcoins. While we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance move up, it is time to be a Bitcoin maxi. It's not time to be an altcoin maxi, in my opinion. I've been very adamant about that. You can go and check my Twitter. I've literally been tweeting altcoins are going to get wrecked for more than 3 weeks now, since the start of this month, and I'm still sticking with that now. I do think altcoins have further to move down. So what does that mean for GST and other altcoins? Well, if the Bitcoin dominance keeps on moving up, you know, when was the last time that it broke out of a channel to the downside like this? Well, we were here. What happened here? we were breaking out into the bear market. And what happened during this phase, the Bitcoin dominance went on a massive rally, all the way from 35.4% all the way up to 73.6%. During this period in time, yes, everything got destroyed against the US dollar, but more specifically, altcoins got wrecked against Bitcoin. I've been talking about this in all my videos, so I really don't want to spend more than 20 seconds going through these charts, but just look at this. These are the altcoins against Bitcoin. This is Gala against Bitcoin. This is Ape against Bitcoin, Axie, Engine, KDA. On the weekly time frame, by the way, this is not what's been happening in the past couple of days. This is what's been happening for months. These altcoins have been getting slaughtered against Bitcoin. Look, JASMY, Tron, GMT, NIR, and you might be thinking Tron, at least in the short term, is moving up. This is still a lower high from here. Zooming out, you know, we're still in a massive downtrend. GMT, after its little hype fest on the move to earns, has been getting slaughtered. NIR, Link, all of these altcoins are getting slaughtered against Bitcoin, and this is, you know, conveyed when we look at the Bitcoin dominance, and this is also, you know, a reflection of what happens in these altcoin prices, because the altcoins, in my opinion, have further to go to the downside. That is why on my channel I've been mainly focusing on Bitcoin for the past couple of days. But yeah, to wrap up this video, while the Bitcoin dominance is going up, in my opinion, it is not the time to get involved in altcoins. And yes, that does include green Satoshi token, at least for the short term. In my opinion, we're moving down. $1 is where I see us at in the next 24 hours. But in the next couple of weeks, because bear in mind, like I said, we do not have to go down in a straight line. We can come down to $1. We can come all the way up to $1.49. We'd still be in a lower high trajectory. And then we could move down to 56, 50 cent towards the latter half of the bear market. Be very careful if you plan on trading these altcoins. As I've been saying, I think at this moment in time it is the time to be a Bitcoin maxi. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Tons of M's on this chart, not looking good. Cowboy out. Peace.